Hello, this is Kitty Reporter with Hot Cat's Meow Topics. President Obama made history at the Healthcare Summit on February 25, 2010. He genuinely reached out to senators and congressmen on both sides of the aisle to come together in a true dialogue about how to create healthcare reform to benefit all Americans. However, it was clear from many of the canned speeches by Republicans that they are mostly interested in promoting their favorite talking points and confusing Americans about what is in the current healthcare reform bill before Congress. As President Obama pointed out, the problem with healthcare reform is a complex issue that cannot be properly addressed by taking baby steps. You cannot throw someone who is 50 feet out in the water a 20-foot rope if they are drowning, because the time you return, they will have drowned. Yet we heard the same old tired talking points from Representative John Boehner, John McCain, and other Republicans at the Senate. Talking points like, this is the most dangerous 2,700-page bill. Taxes will go way up. People believe they will lose their coverage. People believe that they will lose their current Medicare benefits. People believe this is going to be a scary, scary thing. Whoa. Yes, it's very clear that what they wanted to do was continue to scare Americans, not solve the problem. Thankfully, President Obama addressed point by point the misinformation and smoke and mirrors proposals put forth by Republicans. As President Obama pointed out, some ways of dealing with aspects of reform might look the same, but on closer scrutiny, many proposals offered by Republicans would not solve fundamental problems facing all Americans regardless of party affiliation. Republicans in their press conference afterwards claimed President Obama was not listening to them. That is not true. He was listening to them, but he also saw right through their talking points and poorly constructed proposals that would be like throwing drowning Americans a rope that would never reach them to save them from drowning. President Obama addressed every single issue carefully and thoughtfully. It was very annoying to keep hearing the talking points about how nothing will work unless we scrap this bill.
The American people want us to scrap
the other thing that President Obama clearly stated was that there were many things in the bill that were things that the Republicans themselves had actually suggested. But once President Obama decided that he was for these things, now the Republicans are against them. It's crazy. It's time for the Democrats to get a spine. As Senator Boxer pointed out on Rachel Maddow, there have been 22 times since the 1970s when Democrats and Republicans used the concept of a simple majority to pass legislation. Simple majority of reconciliation. And isn't it interesting that Senator Boxer clarified that the Republicans had used this 16 times and the Democrats have used it 6. So who has been using reconciliation more? Republicans. The other interesting point was that President Obama tried to bring clarity about this whole idea that people will lose their Medicare coverage or it's going to cost them more. This is all about what's called Medicare Advantage. Under the Republican administration in 2003, the Republican Congress and the Republican administration passed Medicare Advantage. This was not a very good idea because it was an unfunded program. That's right. You and I, if we go shopping, we try and find what's the best deal. This was corporate welfare for the insurance companies. Here's how it worked. The insurance companies got paid $1.15 for the same amount of service that the regular Medicare program offered for just $1. So that means that they pocketed 15 cents on the dollar for every service that was charged by them to the government under the Medicare Advantage. So what President Obama wants to do is saying, this isn't working. Let's reform this in what makes sense, and let's take that extra money, which is only going to the pockets of the insurance companies, and let's put it back into Medicare so that we'll be able to help fund Medicare to cover all seniors so that they will not lose their benefits. But the Republicans keep over and over again trying to confuse poor seniors about this whole program. This is only one instance of where they're trying to confuse people. The agenda of Senator Kyle, Senator McCain, Senator Grassley, Representative John Boehner, and others is to claim that everything will be just peachy if we only start over from scratch and scrap the current health care bill. No, 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 no. It is time for the Senate to grow their spines and pass health care reform as soon as possible. Even if that means without a single Republican vote. Simple majority. It's not the nuclear option. The nuclear option is when the Republicans threatened to completely get rid of the filibuster. That is not what reconciliation is. The problem is that the Republicans have simplistic answers with very little explanation or willingness to look at what President Obama is showing them about their arguments. If something requires a complex response, comprehensive response, you don't just slap a Band-Aid on it. I wouldn't take my car to just any mechanic. Most of the time, they're just like a surgeon. They have to be able to know how everything fits together. Same thing is true of this bill. So, it's time for people to educate themselves. Watch this summit over and over again, people, if you need to, so that you can understand how President Obama and the Democrats debunked a lot of the talking points that are in the chamber of horror echoes going around the right-wing media talk shows and Fox News. Wake up. We need good health care reform now. This is Kitty Reporter saying good night and have a happy tomorrow. And stay tuned for more hot cats meow topics. Bye for now.